A very good evening to everybody. At the same time, same place, I'm here giving you IELTS tips for what is going to come in the paper and making it sure that you score very well in the first time. So let's start with our session today. Before I start with the session, I would like to thank you everyone for being in the session and wishing you all a very good evening. Prabkar Sidhu, wishing you good evening. Harnoor Baryar, good evening. And Prab, I'm very good. Thank you so much. I hope you're doing good too. So let us start with our work. Today's session is going to be based on every Sunday, that's the same routine. We have predicted speaking. Predicted speaking in the sense that from October to December 2022, I'll be covering the cue cards and the questions which are very probable to come. What is the benefit of predicted speaking? I'm going to give you questions and I'm going to give you the answers. Both of them I'm going to give you. All right. Now, for the students of Webbers, a PDF file is in your login ID. All you have to do is go to the left side in the download section, click on it, and you will see 10th October predicted speaking file. Click on that PDF file and you will see what I'm going to show you here. That is only the questions, but the answers are going to be given by me right now. So hang on and learn. If you haven't followed us on social media, I would suggest you to follow us. We have a 10 o'clock class every day on IELTS tips, that is 10 p.m. IST. IST stands for Indian Standard Time. We've got this wonderful blog where I've put up a lot of new things. I'll just show it to you in the due course of time. Instagram, Facebook, and Telegram, our social handles are there, which show you what exactly are we doing on a day-to-day basis. And that's our WhatsApp number in case you want any query regarding our offline and our online courses, or you have any issue, any problem, please contact this number and they'll be more than happy to help you. Now we have our campuses in Amritsar, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Gurugram, Kapurthala, Tarantaran, Batala, and Gurdaspur with excellent faculty and absolutely amazing results. What makes Webbers different than other things in the world? First of all is our results. That's what really matters to you. Check our Instagram and you will see that we post results 7.5 bands plus. If you check your login ID, you'll see 7 bands plus and you'll see a huge list being uploaded every day. Our faculty is the best in the industry. The training that is done of the faculty, I make it sure that I personally do the training of everyone. Our campuses are world-class with great facilities, and you have seen our dedication. There's no doubt about it. We have an integrated approach in online and offline, so we combine them together to teach you. All the offline students get the online facilities, and all the online students get the offline facilities. You can intermingle. That is very simple. Let's start with our work today. I'm going to be covering 4 frames with you. 4 frames means there are going to be 4 speakings with you. So let me cover frame 1, part 1 with you first. Frame 1, part 1. And the questions are based on birthday. Do you celebrate your birthday every year? Again, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to repeat this every time, that in part 1, your answers should be 2 to 3 sentences long. So you have to say, yes, you celebrate your birthday every year. And how do you celebrate your birthday? Explain that part 2. If you do not explain, the answer will not be complete. Question number 2, why is celebrating this day very important for you? You talk about memories, you talk about family get-together, talk about clicking pictures of the family and making it memorable throughout your life. So this day is very important because you have aged 1 more year on this planet. What makes you feel special on this day? Talk about the attention that you get, the gifts that you get, the kind of celebrations that happen in your family, your friends. Talk about these things. In what ways do you celebrate your birthday every year? Here you can talk about 2-3 different ways. So say you hold a party, or maybe you go for an outing, or maybe you go out for a holiday to some other city. So these are the different ways. Examiner is not going to verify any information. Just don't worry. All you have to do is just keep speaking. That is more important. What different thing will you do on your next birthday? So you speak about it. What different thing are you going to do in the next birthday? Speak about that. So say in my next birthday, I'm going to maybe go to a beach to celebrate it in Goa. So I'll be free from my IELTS examination and I'll be free from my studies. So I'm definitely going to celebrate it there. Something different, okay? All right, so now comes our next part called as the cue card, and I am not going to help you. You people are going to write down some ideas in the chat box so I can check it out, what your ideas are. So I'll speak out the cue card. Remember one thing, the length of the cue card is always till examiner. There's a speaking examiner in the real exam till the examiner stops you. So generally they stop you themselves after 1.5 minutes or maybe close to 2 minutes. Till the examiner stops you, you have to keep speaking. Okay, so now describe a time when you observed stars. You should say when you observed the stars, where and with whom you were, what you observed, and explain how you felt when you saw the stars. So I want you to write down in brief this cue card in the chat box. So I'm going to speak out loudly the names of the people who have done some contribution in this class. Write down something. I'll give you a minute to write it down. So we have these people joining us. Uday Singh Jammu, wishing you a very good evening. And Kamal Kaur Kurdeep, that's wonderful. You celebrate your birthday every year. Now I'm telling you to please write down this topic. Describe a time when you observed stars. Just write it down. Write down a couple of lines, a couple of ideas in the chat box. That will be great. Please write it down. So generally, observe stars, you can't observe them in the daytime, right? So it has to be night. So you talk about night here. And then you talk about where and whom you were with. You know, you can't see the stars generally in the city today because of pollution. So you can talk about some hill stations. So you went to Missouri, or you went to Simla, or you went to Dalhousie. Talk about some hill station and you observe the stars there, okay? So if you are in Delhi and you say, observe the stars in Delhi, that will be absolutely ridiculous because there are no stars in Delhi. And the kind of bright lights that we have in Delhi here, it is impossible to look at the sky and find out something. You can hardly see the moon, okay? Where and with whom were you were? So talk about here, what you observed, think about it, and explain how you felt when you saw the stars. So talk about this thing also. Write it down in the chat box. Shifali Bhardwaj, wishing you a very good evening and welcome to the class. Please write down what you saw when you observed the stars. Please write it down. Okay. So as and when the chat messages will keep coming, I'll keep on talking about them. Let's go to part 3 now. In part 3, there are discussion questions. And remember again that the discussion questions should always be 3 to 4 sentences long so that you are able to discuss properly and the examiner is able to ask you questions based on the discussion questions. Okay. So Why do people like to study stars? So here you can talk about why do people like to study the sky, because sky is kind of a very, energizing thing to watch. You watch the sky and so many things are happening in the sky. There is sun, there is moon, there are planets, there are stars, there are clouds, there are birds, so many things. People love to study the sky, and it's very calming. It's very calming. Do you know any stories related to planets? So you can talk about some story related to planets. You can talk about some space mission that was sent from Earth to, there was a Mangalyaan which had gone from India to Mars. So you can talk about the story related to that planet. Would children benefit from watching stars? Of course they would. They learn about geography, they learn about astronomy, they know about so much about stars, about our planetary systems, about how the Earth actually evolved, what is happening to Earth. If you watch stars, you can come to know. Then you can see asteroids, you can see meteors, you can see the space station, the International Space Station you can see in the sky. Would you like to watch movies on planets? Here you should always say, yes, I would love to watch movies on planets. So you can talk about some movies, like somebody going to Mission Mars was there. So many movies have been there. You can talk about them. Do you like to watch sky when you were young? Of course, everybody when he's child, they are very much inspired by looking at the stars. The twinkling of the stars in the sky is absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so then we go to frame 2. But before we go to frame 2, I'm going to speak out the answers that I got right now. All right, so the answers of Harnoor was, when I went to Leh Ladakh in my holidays with my friends. Very good, Harnoor. That's a great idea. Shifali Bhardwaj says, when I visited village in holidays with my grandfather. All right. Farinder Singh says, there is no denial to the belief that sky and stars fascinate everyone. Here, I would like to talk about a time when I observed the stars. Last year, I went to Manali with my parents for a summer vacation. Varinder, that was beautifully done. I love the vocabulary that you're using, like fascinate and all. Very nice. Kamal Kordeep says, I observed a good instruction. Okay. Varinder Singh says that he went on a vacation, and Harnoor says, at night I observed stars and I found some constellations in the sky. Harnoor, I love the word constellations, which is a group of stars that is absolutely wonderful. So Harnoor again adds a pole star to it. Udaybir Singh Jammu says, during the child, I slept on the terrace with my friends and observed stars. Very nice. That's a very realistic approach, Udaybir. Prabhkar Sidhu says, when I went to Kolkata with my family for winter vacation and observed stars. Okay. Harnoor again adds to this that pole star is the brightest star. Very well done. Very well done. Let us go to frame 2 now, and I'm going to explain you the question answers of frame 2. Part 1. We're talking about hometown here. Do you know much about your hometown? Here you have to obviously answer yes. You can't say, no, I don't know about my hometown. You have to answer yes here. What is so special about your city that people can't find in other cities? Talk about what is special in your city. Talk about the food, talk about the transport, talk about the people, meeting people, talk about the social circle, the shopping facilities that you have there, and the calm and quiet atmosphere that you have in your hometown. Talk about these things. What do you think can be done to make your city pollution-free? Talk about electric vehicles, talk about parking spaces, talk about etiquettes of driving properly, switching off the engines during the red light. You can I would not say finish, you can minimize the city pollution. And right now Diwali is just around the block. So you can talk about that banning crackers in Diwali can definitely make your city pollution-free. Do people get easy access to public transportation in your city? So it is up to you what city you live in. Talk about that. So if you get easy access to public transport like buses and autos, say yes. But if you don't have it, say no. Then you talk about private transport. But again, I'm writing it down that you should be answering 2 to 3 sentences in this section, part 1. 2 to 3 sentences long should be the answer. Let's go to question number 5. Has your city improved much over the past few years? You say yes, and you talk about the infrastructure, you talk about the new sewage lines, talk about good roads, talk about public transport that has been added, roads have been widened, greenery has been provided now, a lot of plants have been planted, trees have been planted, talk about that. Now I come to part 2. I want you people to write down the ideas of this cue card in the chat box. Okay? Describe a time when you visited a fishing area. You should say, where is it? How do you know about it? When and with whom you went there. This is very tricky. It is very tricky, fishing area, because mostly the people have not seen a fishing area. So you talk about a freshwater lake or a river, or make a story in your mind. Do something and write it down. Okay, so Varinder Singh asks me a question. 2-3 sentences will be enough, sir, or needs more elaboration in the final exams? Varinder, I'm saying minimum 2 to 3 sentences. Minimum. You can elaborate it more. In part 3, minimum 3 to 4 sentences long. If you are lesser than that, suppose if you speak just 1 sentence in part 1 or maybe 1 sentence in part 3, it is next to impossible for the examiner to assess you for your English. Like, for example, if I ask you a question, which city do you stay in? And you stay in Delhi, and you say that, well, I stay in Delhi. That's it. So it is not accessible. The examiner cannot mark you on this. You have to speak more about it. Now, if he asks you, are you studying or working? And you say, I am studying. What is the examiner supposed to do from here? The examiner cannot mark you on this, all right? So 2 to 3 questions is going to be minimum. Upper limit, you decide, because it has to be relevant. You just cannot beat about the bush, and you just cannot keep on elaborating the answer so much that it becomes too boring and the examiner has to cut you, okay? So it's a judicious thing. Okay, so let us go further. Now, I want you people to write down some points. Describe a time when you visited a fishing area. You should say, where is it? How do you know about it? And when and with whom you went there. So write about it, all right? Think about it. I'll give you 1 minute. Write as many ideas as you can on this. Kamal Kaur, I was unable to understand what you are saying. There is at Delhi. I'm unable to understand what you are saying. So please elaborate what you're saying. I'm unable to understand that. Okay, I'll give you some time, about a minute, to write down the points of this particular cue card in the chat box. Write down as many points as you can. As many points as you can. Okay, I'll give you all a challenge also. In case anybody out of you wants to speak, do a proper speaking on these frames with me, I can easily do it with you. All you have to do is just let me know in the chat box so I can invite you to the Zoom room, and you can be also broadcasted on YouTube. Just right now only you can do it, not a problem at all. Okay? All right. So let's proceed further. Until that time, keep on writing down as many ideas as you have on describe a time you went fishing, you visited a fishing area. In part 3, which is thematically connected, again, I'm going to reiterate, I'm going to repeat that 3 to 4 sentences have to be there minimum. Speak more than that. That'll always be good. 3+ is always a good idea. Why do so many people like visiting lakes or the ocean? So you can talk about the calmness of the ocean, the vastness of the ocean, the energy of the ocean, which comes into you when you visit an ocean. They like visiting, and it's a beautiful holiday whenever you go to an ocean. Okay. Second question of discussion questions is, do you think human activities are posing a threat to world's ocean? Of course they are. They are posing a huge threat to the ocean life. For example, the plastic that is being discarded into the ocean is suffocating the animals. Apart from that, the oil which is spilt in the ocean. Now, the new problem that is coming up is too many ships, too many submarines, too much testing of nuclear weapons is going on in the oceans. So it is all threatening the oceans. The currents have changed. The ocean temperature is rising. There's a massive problem going on with the human activities on the oceans. What are the advantages and disadvantages of vacation at the seaside? Well, you have to speak about at least 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages. I feel there are a lot of merits and a lot of demerits too. If I talk about the merits side, it is calm, quiet, peaceful, wonderful, isolated from the world. And if I talk about the disadvantages, there can be a fear of high tide. If a person doesn't know swimming and he goes to the seaside, it can be very dangerous. It can be very dangerous. And sometimes the water might not suit people. For example, the people who are asthmatic, the salty water creates more asthma attacks in those people. Do you think it's essential for children to learn how to swim? I believe it's a life skill. Everybody should learn how to swim. It is not only the children, the adults should know, because the kind of problems that we're having with the weather today, the floods that are coming up, and the kind of coastal waters that are rising. And if you go to any swimming pool or if you go to any lake or river and you have to swim, you should know this life skill, which is very important. Do you think it is essential to learn about oceans, and why? It is extremely essential to learn about oceans, because if we know about the oceans, we can understand the climatic change which are happening. We can understand the problems that the oceans are facing. And tomorrow, if we go do some courses relating to this, our knowledge will be very wide on how to handle this. So learning about oceans is very, very important. Okay, before I proceed to the next frame, I want to speak out the contribution done by everybody. Varinder Singh says, fishing is a hobby adopted by many in recent times. Here, I would like to talk about a time when I went for fishing in the Mansarovar Lake in Pathankot district with my friends after my final year examination. And Varinder Singh also says this, I came to know about this place from my friend who went there for his pre-wedding photo shoot. All right. Uday Bir Singh Jammu says, last year I visited my uncle's house in Chandigarh. You made a plan. I visited Sukhna Lake. I saw there were lots of fish in the lake. Prabhkar Sindhu says, with some people like fishing, so people visit fishing area, and today would like to talk about Sukhna Lake, and I saw so many fish in the lake. All right, very good. So you have a lot of ideas now, okay, in what to do. Let's go to frame number 3. Before I go to frame number 3, we are almost halfway done. There are 2 more frames left. Before I go to frame number 3, all the people who have joined late, I would like to tell you that all these frames, I have made a PDF file and I have added in your login ID. All the students of Webbers can see these frames in the login ID. Go to the left menu, click on the download section. You will see predicted frames 10th October. Click it and you will see the same frames what I'm teaching you right now, but they're without the answers and I'm giving you the answers for them. Again, if somebody wants to do speaking with me, live on YouTube, I can always help you out. All you have to do is just message me in the chat box here, and I will give you the link to come inside the chat room, okay? And you can always do live speaking here. Always welcome. Let's proceed further. Frame number 3. Again, before I go to frame number 3, Harnoor Baryar is writing something. I went to the river near my city and I got to know about it by my cousin, as he's fond of fishing in summer holidays. I went to river with my cousin and I was very excited. Good, Harnoor, you're picking up. Keep on writing more ideas. Now we go to frame number 3. Frame number 3, part 1, is about a house. Do you find your house a comfortable place to live in? And the answer should be yes, because you have been brought up in that house. You can't say no, because with the no, there'll be no further questioning. Say yes, talk about the comforts in your house, talk about the bedrooms, kitchen, living room, about your family, about the furniture that you have. It makes it very comfortable. How long have you been living in this house? That you should know how long you've been living in the house and talk about it. When you shifted, why you shifted, and what was the reason for you to shift. Talk about those things. What changes have you seen in your house from childhood to now? So you can talk about the construction, that you got something constructed. And even if you haven't got something constructed, doesn't matter. Speak about something. You got something constructed, then you again talk about the changes that have been made. There was no garden first, there was no parking first, but now you have it. Okay. Next thing is, do you think your house has sufficient space to accommodate all family members? So again, you are the one to give an answer to this. Say yes or no, whatever. If you say yes, then talk about your family, talk about the members who are there, what rooms do they have. And if you say no, then talk about how many family members you have, what problems are you facing. So you can answer this question about the house. Would you like to make some changes in your bedroom in the future? So definitely say a yes. So you'd like to have a library in your bedroom, you'd like to have a computer table in your bedroom, and you want to make it sure that the bedroom has a balcony attached to it, because you can always sit out in the fresh air, do some exercise there in the balcony. You can talk about these things, so it'll make you more interesting to talk. Let's go to part 2. And again, I want your ideas on part 2. This is part 2. Describe an interesting thing you have learned from a foreign culture. You should say, what is it? How did you learn it? Why did you learn it? And explain how you think it will help you. I'm not going to help you here. You have to think about it and give the answer. Remember one thing, you have to keep on speaking till examiner stops you. So I'll say till examiner stops. So you should be having ample of points. Start writing down in the chat box an interesting thing that you have learned from a foreign culture. Write down in the chat box whatever you have learned about something interesting from a foreign culture. Think about it. Write it down. I'll give you a minute to think about it. Keep on writing down. Hurry up, hurry up. All these question answers are predicted in the month of October, November, and December. Make it sure you know these things properly and do these cue cards with your teachers. Do these cue cards with your teachers. Do these question answers with your teachers. Without practicing, it's not possible for you to excel in the examination. Please write down in the chat box an interesting thing that you have learned from a foreign culture. I know it is very difficult, but you have to think about it. Think about it. You learned from the foreign culture. Okay, let's go to part 3. Till that time, keep on writing it down. I will speak out when I get the answers. Part 3. Same thing applies. You have to speak for 3 to 4 sentences, which is very, very important. 3 to 4 sentences. How do you learn about celebrations that are related to your culture? So basically, you learn about the celebrations from your family and school and friends related to your culture. How does the family teach you? The family teaches you by celebrating it. How does the school teach you? By giving you a holiday or by organizing some kind of festivals or some kind of get-togethers in the school. And how do the friends teach you? There are some festivals like Basant, kite flying, Lodi, kite flying again. All the, like Holi, they are mostly taught by the peers, by your friends. So talk about it. What do you think are common celebrations all over the world? Here you can talk about some international festivals like Valentine's Day or Christmas or Diwali, which are celebrated all across the world. Do you think we should follow our culture and traditions, and why? I believe following our culture and traditions is extremely important because they bind us to our roots. If we do not follow our cultures and traditions, we'll be totally isolated. We would not know where to go. If I look at the foreign countries, they are deeply bound to their culture and traditions. All of them celebrate Christmas. All of them celebrate Thanksgiving. All of them celebrate Eid. They all celebrate the cultures and traditions. Why should we be left out? We should also celebrate our culture and traditions. That keeps us bounded to our motherland, which is very important. How do you react to spending a lot of money on celebrations? It's a total waste of money, I believe, spending too much money. Celebrations are get-togethers. It should have human values. By overspending on these festivals, we are simply destroying the environment. Do you celebrate every festival in your country? India is a very diverse country. We celebrate almost every festival available in the world in this country. Every second or third day, there is some kind of festival or the other. You talk about Gujarati festivals, South Indian festivals, East Indian festivals. We have Durga Puja going on. We had Onam recently. Then we had Ganpati Puja. Then we had Durga Puja going on. Then we have Navratras. Then we have Gurpurabs. We have so many things going on. And all. Then Christmas is there. Thanksgiving is there. So many festivals are there from every part of the world, which we celebrate in India. So with this, we come to the end of our third frame. So let us go to our fourth frame. Before we go to our fourth frame, I'm going to speak out the contributions of the people, all the people who are attending this session in this speaking session. So let us see. Prabhkar Sidhu says, well, I learned so many interesting things, but today I would like to talk about what I learned from the foreign culture, that is clothes, and foreign people wear different types of clothes. Harnoor Baryar says, Mother's Day that is celebrated in Canada. I got to admire this culture, and I told to my brother we started celebrating that festival every year. Very well done. Preet Kaur says Mother Day too. Uday Bir Singh Jammu says, sometimes I operate my cell phone. I watch foreign culture like lifestyle trends, traditional food, traditional clothes, right? So you can talk about anything that you learned from the foreign culture. Okay, you can talk about that. That is very well done. You've got the ideas now, a lot of ideas. Frame 4. So this frame is a very difficult frame. Feeling low means feeling sad. So we are going to talk about this. What do you usually do when you feel low? So there are a lot of things that people do when they feel low. Some people simply go to sleep. Some people exercise. Sleep. My mistake. So some people exercise, sleep, exercise. Some people listen to music. It depends from person to person. Some people like to read. Some people just like to be isolated. They don't want to talk to anyone. They want to be isolated. So there are so many things when you feel low, but you have to say, what do you do when you are feeling low? So talk about 2-3 things from here, because with one thing, the answer might not be very complete. Next, what makes you sad most of the times? So here there can be multiple things you can say that makes you sad, but mostly people feel sad when their ambitions are not met, when their expectations are not met. That is the time when they feel sad. Suppose you expected something to happen. Maybe you went for a movie with a very good frame of mind, but you found the movie terrible. So you feel sad that you wasted money. Or if you're participating in a game and you lose the game, your expectation was to win a medal, but when you come back home empty-handed, that makes you feel sad. Disappointing your parents can also make you feel sad, right? So you can talk about your feeling sad, give a generic statement, and then talk about your particular case. Next thing is, how do you keep yourself active and positive? Here you can talk about visiting the temple and exercising and eating healthy food, maintaining disciplined life, That makes you very active and very positive, meeting positive people. Next thing is, do you believe in doing any sort of exercise to keep yourself calm, like yoga? Uh, to talk about yoga, India has an inbuilt concept of yoga, inbuilt concept of yoga. You know, our daily activities, whatever we have yoga inside them. Maybe it's the way we sit on the ground. We are doing a yoga asana. We drink water while sitting. We do a lot of exercises, generally, which we don't even come to know. That is a part of our culture. Even if you go to a temple, paying obeisance is a part of that yoga exercise. You know, it is all inbuilt in our structure. So I think to keep calm, a lot of people do yoga knowingly or unknowingly. It is a part of our culture. Next is, do you get annoyed by people who constantly mock you in your low times? Well, there are many people who mock you at your low times. They don't understand why you're sad. And obviously, people get irritated by them. But then again, you know, you don't have to disclose people why you're sad. So simply you ignore them. So if you get annoyed, you cannot do anything about it because you know that they are annoying and they will not understand. So you can talk like that about it. This is the cue card, a very important cue card. Describe an ambition that you haven't achieved, and you should say these 4 questions. An ambition that you haven't achieved. Okay. What is it? Why haven't you achieved it? What are you doing to achieve it? And how do you feel about it? So write down something about it. Okay, write down something about it. I'll give you some time to think over it and write it down. Okay, there's a very interesting cue card that Prab Kaur Sidhu has written for the last cue card. She says, learning about something from the foreign culture. They show foreign culture, and I'm interested to learn these things because I want to go abroad. If I learn foreign culture, I can easily communicate with them, with different kinds of people. Good, Prabhkar. You're improving in your ideas, but the grammar is a little bad. So work on your grammar, you'll be perfectly fine. Write down the answer to this cue card. Describe an ambition that you haven't achieved. Think about it and write about it. Okay. So I'll do the next part. Until that time, keep on writing ideas about it in the chat box. Part 3. What ambitions do children usually have now more than in the past? Well, if I talk about the children today, they are much more ambitious as compared to the children of the past. They want to achieve a lot in a very short span of time. And that makes them very ambitious. They want to earn more money. They want to earn name, fame, everything. Why are some people very ambitious at their work? I believe every person is different. Some people show that they're very ambitious. Some people don't show that they're very ambitious. But some people show that they're very ambitious, but they're not very ambitious. They just make a lot of noise. They want to do this, they want to do that, but they don't achieve anything much. On the other side, there's some silent people who don't show anything, but they are very ambitious inside and they keep on achieving. That is wonderful. Why are most people in the rat race to earn money only? Well, today, money is the only barometer, is the only measuring tape in the world to measure success. But I think that's not the right indicator. It should be happiness. It should be other factors too. It should be your health indicator, your mental, your physical health should be there as an indicator of being successful. But the rat race today is to earn money. And because that is the only barometer of success today, that is why people are in the rat race to earn money to show that they're successful. How do people feel after achieving their goals? Well, it depends from person to person, I believe. Some people feel very happy when they achieve their goals, but some people feel very empty because they feel that the goal has been achieved. Now what to do? You have to set up another goal. Is being overambitious in life a good quality for the people? It can be a good quality for the people, but not all the time. Overambitiousness can give you a lot of diseases, can give you a lot of problems. If you're not very methodical in being overambitious, you might end up as a nervous wreck, which means you might lose your mental health. So overambitious is a good quality for people who are very methodical. But if you're already very messed up and you are overambitious, then you tend to mess up things a lot more than the normal people would. Okay. So with this, we come to the end of our session, but I want to see what have you written in part 2 of ambition. So Varinder Singh says, my ambition is to travel the world and visit historical and ancient buildings. Okay, let me see. What was the topic? Ambition you haven't achieved. Okay, Varinder, I haven't achieved it. Yes, a lot of money and time is required, right? I agree with you. Uday Bir Singh says, last week I decided I bought an iPhone 13, as well as my father was not agreeing with me. Okay. Uday, the question is, you haven't achieved. This one you have achieved. You haven't achieved is the question. Varinder Singh says, to achieve my aim, I'm working hard and saving every penny that I can enjoy the facilities when I pursue my dream tour. Okay, great. All right. Now, if anybody is there who wants to do personal speaking with me and wants to be broadcasted on this YouTube channel just now only, just write down in the chat box and I will give you the link to come to my Zoom room so we can do it. Whatever, if anybody is interested, it is not a compulsion. If anybody is interested, just write it down so we can continue this class further and you can do it. As of now, we have come to the end of our class. If you haven't followed us on social media, do follow us on webberzeducomplimited on YouTube channel. We have a blog, we have Instagram, Facebook, Telegram, so many channels are there. Just look at them and see the kind of work that we're doing there. This is my WhatsApp number. In case you want to be in touch with us, that's the WhatsApp number that will help you. We have campuses in Amritsar, Jalandhar, Ludhiana, Gurugram, Kapurthala, Tarantaran, Batala, and Gurdaspur. And we have the best faculty. Our results speak for ourselves. We are very different as compared to other institutes of our line. Check our results, check Instagram, you will come to know. Our faculty is highly qualified. I train my faculty myself and I make it sure that they do the best. We have campuses which are world-class and you have to see them to believe them. Our dedication you are seeing. And our integrated approach is online and offline together, which again is a wonderful thing. All the offline students have the concept of online and all the online students have a concept of offline. You can intermingle them. That is the best approach today. In case you're not able to come to the center, we have everything on your mobile phone at home. We've got an app, we have a website, everything is there. With this, we come to the end of our session. And before we end, I would like to read out what people are saying here. Okay, Varinder Singh says, to achieve my aim, I'm working hard and saving every penny so I can enjoy all the facilities when I pursue my dream tour. Harnoor Bryar says, national basketball tournament trophy that I haven't achieved it because of lack of cooperation in the team, but we are hardworking and doing hard training and has made strong bond in our team. Very good, Harnoor. That's a very different idea from everybody else. That is very well done. So we come to the end of our session today. Thank you so much. Good night. See you tomorrow, 10 o'clock, same time, same place. Bye-bye. All the best.